It is the point after, the final point after of the season. Jason Lloyd from The Athletic joins us, along with Mary Kay Cabot, the Browns beat writer for Cleveland.com. Mary Kay Cabot, I'll begin with you. You broke the Jadeveon Clowney story last week and turned this city upside down. Do you take responsibility for that?
Wow, that's a lot to handle there on my plate right now. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Well, I mean, it was a big story, but I think that Jadeveon was a symptom of some things that have gone on this defense this season. I think it helps inform, just what was going wrong on that side of the ball. I think there were a lot of issues over there, both on the field and off the field, and they're looking for some new energy from a new coordinator.
All right, I want to stay with the Clowney and give you a shot at it too, Jason, and that is, this incident in the Ravens game happened in the first Ravens game, okay? The one over in Baltimore when he said, hey, I don't want to play first and second down. I'll come in. Check with me on third down. I might come in and play that.
Might feel like it.
How was this allowed to go on?
I don't know. And that's the frustrating part, I think, is the discipline issues that really they've had all year. In the Clowney thing, I think Mary Kay's dead on. It's a symptom of a larger problem. You look at the Delpit benching of one play, Miles being benched for a series. Perrion Winfrey was disciplined. You've got Clowney going off doing his own thing. You know, the locker room, I think it's fair to say, was damaged, Jimmy. Wouldn't you say? And that's 2 years in a row. You know, there was the Baker issue last year, and there was damage done.
OBJ.
Right. You had guys pretty much quitting the team last year and leaving early. You have that again this year with Jadeveon basically saying, you know what, I'm good. I don't need to be here for the last game. He knew what he was doing when he told Mary Kay that. He knew they were going to send him home.
Yeah, Mary Kay, let's go to what happened last night. And, of course, the news comes out today about Joe Woods being out as the defensive coordinator. Are you surprised at all?
No, I mean, I think we all knew it was coming. I think there may have been some slight chance that he could save himself over these last few games, but it would have been a situation where, if anything, they would have brought in someone such as an associate head coach / defense to still get a new pair of eyes in there, sort of a new philosophy and a new energy. There were too many guys that just were not only unhappy and disgruntled on that side of the ball, but too many of them underperformed. There were a lot of really talented players on defense this season that just did not live up to their potential in any way. And I think they want this new coordinator to bring in a new style of play and unlock those guys.
All right, I would agree with her. They did underperform, all right? Is that Joe's fault, or are these guys just, did we over-evaluate them? I mean, there was a bust in coverage yesterday that killed them on the touchdown pass to George Pickens, and it keeps happening.
I do think there's talent on this defense. I do think some of the guys, maybe we overestimated a little bit what they're capable of. And, you know, we heard John Johnson talk about it today, about sometimes you just need to simplify things and just let us put our cleats on and go play. And they perform better when there wasn't so much thinking involved, when there wasn't so much reads. It's just sort of read and react and go make a play. And I think that's where they really thrive, and I think that's where they're hoping really to get back to, because, you know, I agree with Mary Kay. I think he lost the locker room a while ago, and it was really the Buffalo game where I left Detroit and thought, this is it. He can't come back. They've lost faith in his schemes.
Okay, Mary Kay, today, Deshaun Watson, in a very revealing session with members of the media, basically came out and said, listen, next year I'm going to take over the team as far as the leader is concerned. It's a little dicey this year because of my situation, but I'm ready to kind of take it over. How does that sit with the players? Like, how does Myles Garrett feel about this guy coming in and saying, I got it from here?
Well, I think he's mostly talking about the offensive side of the ball, and I don't think Myles will have any problem with that whatsoever. I think he loves the idea that Deshaun wants to take over as the leader of the team, especially on that side of the ball. And this time he won't have an 11-game interruption in that leadership and in that voice. So I think Myles has been waiting for something like this, someone who not only has the leadership ability, but also the elite talent, the elite skill set to go with it. So I think it will be welcome.
He spoke today like a player with an awful lot of power. For a guy that
he does have a lot of power.
He does have a lot $
230 million guaranteed contract. He's
Beyond
the most powerful
that,
player.
though, it seems as though he has the power to also go in and change the Browns' offense.
$230 million guaranteed contract. He's the most powerful person in Berea. That includes the coaching staff. That includes the GM. $230 million guaranteed.
Mary Kay, Do you agree with that? I mean, I felt he said, listen, I'm going to sit down with Kevin, and he inferred, like, I'm going to reconstruct the offense.
You know what? I think that might be taking it a little bit too far. I think he spoke in terms of being collaborative, that he's going to sit down and talk man-to-man with Kevin, and those two guys are going to work through this and figure out a way to tailor this offense to his skill set and make sure that they're both on the same page. So I don't think he's necessarily saying, move over, Kevin, I've got this. I think he's saying, let's work hand in hand and try to find a way to maximize my talents and abilities, and we'll do whatever it takes to make that happen.
All right, mind you now, I'm trying to play the role of Maury Povich here, so I am going to take everything a little bit too far here tonight. It's our last crack with the two of you. Is this a good job, this defensive coordinator job? And might not a guy be worried about the head coach having to win next year?
That's exactly right. That's why I think you may have trouble finding a coordinator, because you're looking at this going, hey, man, you're starting off the year on the hot seat. Is it worth me leaving where I'm at now to go somewhere where we might all get blown out again 5 or 6 months from now? The flip side of that, a guy like Brian Flores could look at this and say, if he does get fired, I'm in line to be the head coach. So there's two ways to look at it.
All right, Mary Kay, weigh in on that for me.
You know, I think there will be a lot of really good jobs open this offseason, and, you know, it's going to be hard to get the best guy to come here, you know, just because there will be plenty of competition. But I do think that they will land a really, really good coordinator. I think they've got a good lineup so far. Again, it's Brian Flores, Jim Schwartz, Sean Desai, and Gerard Mayo. So they've got a good cross-section of guys, and I think they're going to go with someone who can really work with the communication and the discipline. Those are key.
All right, once again, it's the lightning round to end it. Leader in the clubhouse to get that job is what, Mary Kay, or who?
You know, I don't know the answer to that question right now. If you want to go with the super experienced guy, it would be Jim Schwartz. Yeah. If you want to go with, you know, another fiery leader, you've got Brian Flores. So I can't say I know who the leader is right now.
All right, I'll take that as a pass. Go ahead, you.
I was going to say those exact same two names, Schwartz or Flores.
Passed.
I'll say Flores. Give me Flores.
Brian Flores.
Yeah,
how about
Flores.
that? Now, the legal issues with the NFL, that's all?
It's a little problem. I mean,
haven't we
is trying to burn down the building.
Issues? Have we not had enough legal issues with the football team over the last 12 months?
Well, you know, that is a consideration. I mean, you know that there will be, you know, possible distractions in that way. But I think, obviously, they really like what he brings to the table from a defensive standpoint. And I think that they will not overlook, but deal with the legal stuff.
Hey, I have to tell you, I loved having you both on the show every week. Thanks for being here,
I feel like
Jason.
we should sign yearbooks or take prom pictures or something.
And Mary Kay wins the award for most likely to succeed. Mary Kay, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, everybody, we do have our last Hey Jimmy segment tomorrow. This might be the last segment for a lot of things. So send us your questions and text them to 216-344-3300 with the phrase, Hey Jimmy. And that is a text, not a phone call. Don't forget to include your name and where you're from, and then I'll answer a few of your questions coming up tomorrow night. Now here's